Ching today, chapter 36. Actually, chapter 37. The Tao is constant and non-action, yet there is nothing it does not do. If the sovereign can hold on to this, all things shall transform themselves. Transformed yet wishing to achieve. I shall restrain them with the simplicity of the nameless. The simplicity of the nameless. They shall be without desire. Without desire, using stillness, the world shall steady itself. The Tao is both eternally devoid of action and the ultimate cause of all actions. It makes no attempt to achieve, and yet nothing is beyond its powers to achieve. It doesn't try to do anything, it simply does everything. Therefore the Tao is the eternal, unchanging principle of effortless achievement. Within its workings there is no strife or struggle. As it is in many other chapters, the sovereign here can be anything from the leader of a nation to the master of oneself. When we are able to hold the Tao and embody its principles of effortless achievement, everything around us, environment, circumstances, friends, family, relationships, will naturally transform into alignment with our goals. When people are transformed into alignment with the leader, they may wish to move ahead with actions that, if unchecked, can lead to chaos. Similarly, those who become allies in our cause may do more harm than good out of a strong desire to take action. Our own thoughts and emotions, once aligned with a personal goal, can also get away from us out of sheer enthusiasm. In these situations, we can restore balance by applying Pu, the principle of plainness and simplicity. The fundamental nature of the nameless Tao is plain and simple. This total absence of contrivance and complexity lessens the urge to overreact and moderates desires. Reflection.
How would you practice something like that to become, I guess, in a state of wanting nothing, but still accomplishing stuff?
It's like you gotta separate the mind and the ego from your heart and your inner nature. When you know yourself and you know who you are, and you don't try to become who you're not, but you're just content with who you are, then that in itself is beautiful, and things will be accomplished naturally because you're just doing what's natural to you, and you're not letting your mind get in the way of doing something unnatural. And just also seeing reality for what it is and not choosing one better than another, but accepting what comes and embracing it and allowing it to pass. So then there's no such thing as disappointment, because you're just in the moment and experiencing everything as it comes. And it's almost when it's meant to happen, it'll happen. And then also everything happens for a reason. So you don't try to force things to happen. You just let it happen on its own. Yeah. It's we can't force it to snow or rain. It's just gonna happen. And when it does happen, then we appreciate it. If it doesn't snow, if it's sunny, we appreciate it. If it rains, it appreciates it. We appreciate it. No matter what happens, we appreciate it. So in your life, you can't control everything. Just let it let it be, and then things will naturally fall into place. If you find out more about yourself, your inner nature, you'll have special abilities that you can do that other people can't do. And when you're in tune with that, and you go with that, then everything is easy to achieve, and it's effortless for you because it's already in you. But if you deny your inner nature and you try to be who you're not, then you'll be constantly trying so hard, and you won't really feel like you're achieving anything because you're doing something that's not meant for you. You know. So a lot of it is just knowing yourself. And I think also relevant to this training, like if you see it as like a lifelong training, then there's no rush. You can just take your time to progress. But if you are training with a specific goal in mind, that I have to get this good by this time, and you force yourself to train like super hard, and that's not in you to do that, then what ends up happening, which I've seen it a lot, is just you just burn out and then you quit.
Yeah.
You know. And you see it a lot in sports. It's like they try really hard, and if they don't get to where they want to be, then they just quit. Like I've noticed so many people play basketball like since they're little kids, and they can't make it to the college team and they quit. They can't make the NBA, they quit. I mean, or even if they do make it to the NBA or the professional teams, after that they're done playing, they retire, they don't play again. Like these teachings, like the martial arts, is a lifelong thing. So there's no such thing as quitting or retiring. It's just something you do for your whole life. So there's no rush. You know, it's different. And then if you keep doing something for so long, and you actually enjoy what you're doing, how can you not get better? You will get better. You know, it's just inevitable. You will get better.
So basically, you inculcate that into your lifestyle as opposed to doing it as an external activity.
Yeah. Like I always tell people when we train, it's like, to me, it's like breathing. Like you breathe every day, your heartbeat beats every day. Like it doesn't stop until you die. So you keep training until you die. Like it doesn't stop. Even something, we've been trained to brush our teeth like every day, hopefully twice a day, right? And you just do it no matter what. I mean, even if you're tired that day, you still do it. Same thing with taking a shower, you know what I mean? Like we do it every day, and that's how the training should become a part of you, just like that. Like, I don't care how tired you are or how lazy you feel, you still gotta do it because it's a part of who you are and your body needs it. Just like we drink water every day, we eat food every day. So you need to move your body every day. You don't necessarily have to train like super hard and kill yourself, but you just move your body, stretch it out, exercise a little bit, do your exercise routines every day, and there's no other option than to progress. I mean, it's just when you do something all the time every day, you're gonna progress, and you won't even know that you're progressing because you don't even care if you progress. You're not focused on progressing. You're basically just enjoying what you're doing, and then as you're enjoying it, you're progressing without even knowing it. And that's pretty much how you're supposed to do it as far as the martial arts and these types of teachings. It's different, you know. Alright, next one. High virtue is not virtuous, therefore it has virtue. Low virtue never loses virtue, therefore it has no virtue. High virtue takes no contrived action and acts without agenda. Low virtue takes contrived action and acts with agenda. High benevolence takes convicted action and acts without agenda. High righteousness takes convicted action and acts with agenda. High etiquette takes contrived action and upon encountering no response, uses arms to pull others. Therefore the Tao is lost, and then virtue is lost, and then benevolence is lost, and then righteousness is lost, and then etiquette. Those who have etiquette are a thin shell of loyalty and sincerity, and the beginning of chaos. Those with foreknowledge are the followers of the Tao, and the beginning of ignorance. Therefore the great person abides in substance and does not dwell on the thin shell, abides in the real and does not dwell on the flower. Thus they discard that and take this. Those who have real virtue are not intentionally so. Their actions are natural and unforced. Those who possess low virtue are not naturally virtuous, so they constantly have to remind themselves to act virtuously. Oftentimes their actions advance specific personal agendas, such as improving their public image, assuaging guilty feelings, and so on. Benevolence and righteousness are a bit different. Those who have the former contrive to act in benevolent ways, but because they do so out of compassion, their actions are free of personal agendas and attachments. Those who have the latter are also contrived, but because they feel so strongly justified in themselves, their actions always reflect their motives. Etiquette is yet another step down from the benevolence and righteousness. Those who have etiquette without the Tao act with contrived politeness and propriety. They fall back on protocol and rules to mask their true intentions, and if they fail to elicit from others the response they are looking for, they will use their arms, physical means, to force their views upon others in an aggressive manner. In this context, flowers of the Tao is not a positive description. The basic idea is that flowers have a pleasing appearance but none of the satisfying goodness of fruits. Therefore, they are a metaphor for individuals who look good but lack substance. People who possess knowledge without real virtue fall into this category. They may project a knowledgeable image, but in fact they are ignorant in fundamental ways. This is an admonition for us to focus on the inner essence instead of the veneer of superficiality. Instead of fussing over etiquette and knowledge, we should reach for benevolence, virtue, and finally the Tao. Reflection.
It's almost like being and trying to be. That's what I get from it. Like you have people who just are naturally just kind and compassionate people. Then you have, like they said, people who try to be certain ways for a specific purpose. So people were trying to do something. It's almost like you said about training. Like you're training for a specific goal, then you're going to burn out. Whereas if you're just doing it because it's a lifestyle, like you're going to reach your goals without even knowing it because you don't have goals.
Yes.
It's just who you are.
Yeah. Exactly.
And my takeaway on that is that when you're doing martial art, it's not as if you're doing it to compete, but you're doing it so that you broaden your mental capacity and your physical ability, so that should you encounter any unforeseen circumstances, you'll be able to tackle that without any issues.
Yes. And I think that a lot of it to me applies to not even physical, but just mental, emotional, spiritual, or just going through life's challenges. Just death, loss of a loved one, or separation, loss of employment, divorce, financial struggle, or just whatever life circumstances you're going through. The martial arts training should help you overcome those sorts of struggles and be very strong, as you encounter these sorts of struggles, and not like break down mentally or spiritually. I think that's one of the main challenges that everybody will deal with. I mean, it's going to be very rare for somebody to attack you and physically and put your life at risk. That's going to be very rare. Most of the training will point towards just going through life and experiencing certain things that affect you emotionally or mentally, and then learning how to overcome those struggles through the spiritual training of the martial arts.
And what I've gained mostly on your teaching is that you have to be defensive as opposed to be, attacking, because in that sense, you learn how to maneuver through difficult circumstances, as opposed to instigating just because you've been taught how to attack. So I think that's the best thing I would say that I've come to learn in this class, that you have to take a high road as opposed to just going out there and thinking that you're a big shot. And it's basically about discipline, which I appreciate.
Definitely. It's supposed to lead you towards that self-discipline, and that's very much lacking in this culture. But if you could get that type of training or discipline in this class, then it can take you very far, And just like Chris was talking about, how do you achieve those goals? Well, if you have that self-discipline, there's no other option than to achieve whatever you want to achieve, because you have self-discipline. And that's pretty much what the meaning of Kung Fu is. I mean, it's like discipline. Like self-discipline to better yourself, not just in fighting, but just everything in life. So if you think about the people that made Kung Fu known to America, it's mainly like Bruce Lee, and then came like Jet Li and then Jackie Chan, whatever. But Bruce Lee brought Kung Fu over here, and if you look at Bruce Lee, he wasn't just like great in fighting. I mean, he was super fast. He was a great dancer. His body looked like a bodybuilder. He was a philosopher. He was a husband. He was a father. He was a teacher. He was like a sage, a spiritual guide. He was an actor. I mean, he was just good at so many different things. He even directed movies. And he was doing the fight choreography. I mean, he was representing Kung Fu getting good at everything. It's not just fighting, you know. So when you come and you learn Kung Fu, you're supposed to learn that self-discipline so that you can apply it to anything in life that you want to get good at. And then that's real Kung Fu. Like somebody has good Kung Fu is not just good in this class, but he's good out there as well, and at home, and just in life. Like everything is flourishing because he puts that self-discipline in everything that he does. And that's what real Kung Fu is really about, and that's what you're supposed to learn in here. You know, it's not just fighting, you know. So I always try to have you guys balance out your training. We do like a little bit of everything, and even in our bow, I don't think I told you guys yet, but it's supposed to represent balance. Like this part is supposed to represent fitness, this is supposed to represent the combat training, and this is supposed to represent the spiritual training. So when we do the bow, always reminds you to balance out your body, mind, and spirit. Don't forget any of those. And once you balance it all out, that's what makes you a martial artist. But if you lack any of that, like if you lack the spiritual, but you're fit and you can fight, then you're not a martial artist. You're like a fighter, according to my eyes. You know, if you lack fitness and you know how to fight and you're a spiritual person, you're still not representing martial arts in my eyes. You're just maybe like a spiritual guide or a combat coach. But say you're really fit and you don't know how to fight, but you're spiritual, still not representing martial arts. You might just be like a fit Jesus or something like that, or a fit Buddha, but you're still not representing martial arts. You don't have that combative aspect. So you need to have all the aspects. If you miss one of those aspects, you're not representing martial arts. You might be representing something else, which is fine. You know, I respect Jesus and Buddha, but they're not martial artists. Bruce Lee was representing martial arts. Arnold Schwarzenegger is representing more fitness. He's not representing martial arts. The cage fighters are representing, you know, combat sport. They're not representing martial arts. You see, there's a lack in everything out there. Somebody like Bruce Lee was representing martial arts, and there's very few people that represent martial arts. There's people out there that practice martial arts, and they might not be too fit. To me, they're not representing martial arts because they're lacking the fitness. So I put it into the bow to always have you guys remember it, so that every time you bow, you won't forget. That's why we take some time to stretch, because that's part of the balance. If you go to the average gym, mostly everybody in there will never stretch. They just go in there, work out, and that's it. And they're lacking. They're lacking that balance in their physical development. But then they're also lacking the spiritual development for the most part, and the combative development. They're just single-minded onto the physical fitness and how you look. So most of everything that you do, they're going to promote an imbalance. If you just go to church over here, you're not going to see them exercising in church or practicing combat training. They're just focusing on the spiritual. But in the Chinese martial arts, if you look at the Shaolin monks, they meditate, they practice combat training, and they practice fitness training. So they're pretty much, their religion is pretty much martial arts. And that's the way of life, is martial arts, you know, for them. And that's kind of what I'm trying to share here, is martial arts is a way of life. It's not just a hobby or something like that, you know. It's just who you are, you know. Alright, Thabo, what would you like to focus on?